In Tamil Nadu, the situation is no different from 2019. 110 leaders of the BJP who are quote-unquote dynasts. On both, Mr. Modi's government has failed.
How does the present election differ from the previous elections? Because a sense of urgency and anxiety seems to be gripped the opposition parties. Do you think the outcome of the election will completely change the course of Indian politics and democracy?
In Tamil Nadu, the situation is no different from 2019 or 2021. The DMK-led alliance in Tamil Nadu, the India Front, will score resoundingly in Tamil Nadu as it did in 2019 and 2021. In the southern states, the situation is turned in our favor. In Karnataka and Telangana, we have governments today. The BRS is a splintering party. It is a party on the verge of disintegration. In Karnataka, the JDS is practically wiped out by the BJP. Therefore, in Telangana and Karnataka, we hope to do far better than what we did in 2019, where we got 3 seats in Telangana and 2 seats in Karnataka. We will far exceed that. In Kerala, of course, the 20 seats will be shared by the Left Front and the United Front. I think that the United Front will have a slight edge, but nothing will be left for the BJP. Therefore, as far as 2024 Lok Sabha elections is concerned, the situation is no different from 2019 and 2021.
But do you think the victory for, because it will, do you think it will change the course? Suppose the BJP is elected to power, do you think it will change the course of Indian democracy and politics?
It depends on if the BJP is elected in power. I hope it will not. Then, of course, a new government will come in Delhi, led by the India Front, and we will certainly reverse the damage that has happened in the last 10 years. We have said so in our manifesto. There is much work to be done to clean up the mess. Legal, political, administrative, but much work to be done. If the BJP wins by a resounding majority, I have already cautioned that they will amend the constitution. They will change the Westminster principles of parliamentary democracy. They don't believe in it. They will introduce some kind of an electoral autocracy. There will be a facade of elections. But all their other pronouncements lead to that conclusion. One nation, one election, one nation, one language. All that will convert India into an electoral autocracy. If the BJP wins by a small majority, it will hang on. It will become more repressive. It will try to crush the opposition. Its goal is to get rid of the Congress, which is the only other national party, and then deal with each regional party, state party on a case-to-case basis. So I think there is much to expect, much to fear after the result of the elections. So let's wait for the result of the elections.
What do you think has worked in favor of the BJP in all these years? Because the substantial growth of the party. Because BJP has been saying the Congress and other regional parties are now promoting only dynasty politics. Do you think that is working in their favor?
I have a list of 110 leaders of the BJP who are quote-unquote dynasts, sons, daughters, sons-in-law. I've got a long list of 110, starting with Rajnath Singh's son, Shiva Raj's daughter, and you go down the list. So how can the BJP accuse us of dynastic politics? What about Karnataka, Yadurappa and his son? What about their ally in Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu, son-in-law of NTR? What about their ally in Karnataka, Kumaraswamy, son of H.D. Devagowda? So what does it mean? What does the BJP mean by accusing the opposition parties of dynastic politics? If you point one finger, three fingers are pointing to yourself. The BJP minus Mr. Narendra Modi is full of sons, daughters and sons-in-law. Whether it's right or wrong is a different matter. But you can't accuse the opposition parties of dynastic politics when you have so many so-called dynasts in your own party.
So it is a baseless allegation.
It's a completely baseless allegation. It's proved on the ground. What about Neeraj Shekhar, Chandrasekhar's son? You can go down the list, state by state. I can take you through the list. I can share with you the 110 names. What is working in favor of the BJP in the Hindi-speaking northern states of India is this fervour for a different kind of Hinduism, militant, extreme right-wing Hinduism. We are Hindus, but our Hinduism and our practice of Hinduism is very different. For example, I'll tell you something. We have great temples for Lord Shiva, for Lord Muruga, for Lord Vishnu. But each one in Tamil Nadu has a family deity, what we call smaller gods, Siru Devam. Mariyamman, Muttu Mariyamman, Vekkaliyamman, Vayyakaruppai. These are small deities in villages to which they owe obeisance and allegiance. So our practice of Hinduism is more inclusive. When you go to these small temple gods, every community prays there. Whereas the BJP's practice of extreme right-wing Hinduism is largely influenced by Varnashrama, the four caste divisions, which we reject. We reject it in Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra, because of great social reformers like Jyotibai Phule, Narayana Guru, E.V.R. Periyar, Basavaya, a whole lot of social reformers. That social reform movement seems to have passed the Hindi-speaking northern states.
What do you attribute to the rise of the Hindu? Many BJP supporters say the country is going through a Hindu awakening and Hindu assertion after years of humiliation meted out to the
What
religion.
humiliation?
By the colonial rulers and before the Muslim conquest.
Colonial rule is a fact of history. Before that, the Mughal rule is a fact of history. But before that, there were other dynasts. There were other empires. The Gupta Empire in Tamil Nadu, the Chola Empire, in the Chalukya Empire. There were several empires. You can't alter history. It's a fact. You can't alter history. You can only shape a new India according to the needs of the times. What does India need today? What India needs today is not going back to the old primitive or original pristine Hinduism. What India needs today is a secular nation wedded to science and technology and taking 142 crore people forward. We are the largest population in the world today. This large population can only survive if we have secularism and tolerance and brotherhood. This country cannot survive if we divide on the basis of religion or language. We cannot survive.
But why then there is a south-north divide on the rise of Hindutva? Is it radical to an extent? No, do you think radical Islam is complementing the rise of Hindutva?
Nothing to do with Islam. It has got to do with the history and the pace of development of South India. Education, healthcare, social reform movement, the rise of regional parties have made South India a more progressive part of India. Whereas in the northern Indian states, the Hindi-speaking states, they are clearly among the more backward states. They are poorer, they have less education, less healthcare, less infrastructure, and therefore there is a clear socio-economic factor difference between South India and North India. Therefore, the northern Indian states are more vulnerable, more amenable to these extreme appeals to religion and culture and language. Whereas we are more inclined to accept that science and technology and industry and education alone will take us forward. There's a clear difference, Add to that, the BJP is seen as a North Indian party led by Hindi leaders. And therefore, there is a natural suspicion of the BJP. For example, the Prime Minister knows English, but he refuses to speak English when he visits South India. It is not as though he does not know English at all. Whereas Mr. Devagowda, when he was Prime Minister, made an attempt to speak in Hindi to Hindi audiences. Mr. Narasimha Rao was fluent in both English and Hindi. Therefore, what we are asking is, don't impose one language, one culture, one social structure upon all the states of India. The states of India are very different, like the 5 fingers of one palm, and therefore respect every language, every culture, every history, every tradition, every way of worship. But that the BJP does not accept. The BJP wants a uniform India, not a united India.
So when it comes to Citizenship Amendment Act, all political parties, except the BJP, everyone was unanimous in their opposition to that amendment. But I watched Mrs. Indira Gandhi's interview to an American journalist, in which she was telling that every refugee who has come to India should leave the country for their own country. So, what is wrong in sending the refugees to their own countries?
I don't know when Mrs. Indira Gandhi said that.
Yeah,
I don't know. But please understand, there is a law of asylum. The Treaty on the Law of Asylum, and India is a signatory to that treaty.
Okay.
It's based on international consensus. It is based on human rights of refugees. Therefore, we should enact a law on asylum and abide by that law. Now, again, migration is a fact of history. Many thousand Indians migrate from India every year. Therefore, those who have come here 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 15 years ago, how can you throw them out? Where will you throw them out? Enact a law on asylum in accordance with the international convention and then enforce that law. Nobody is preventing the government of India from doing that. But those who have already come into India by a particular cutoff date, you can't discriminate on the ground of religion. They have come here for various reasons, essentially persecution and discrimination. Now, they have come to India, they are living in India, they are working in India, their families are here. How do you distinguish between them? or discriminate between them on the basis of religion.
Religion.
That is the question.
The National Population Register and Aadhaar, do you think that it will become a powerful tool in the hands of BJP to further its political agenda?
No, Aadhaar was introduced by the UPA government.
Government, yeah.
Aadhaar is supposed to be an identity to receive socio-economic benefits. The Supreme Court has categorically pronounced that the law on Aadhaar requires Aadhaar only for socio-economic benefits. You cannot use it for any other purpose. But the BJP government is mischievously insisting on Aadhaar for every purpose, which is challenged. And we are opposing it, we are fighting it. There are several cases pending. How can you ask for Aadhaar for this or Aadhaar for that? So Aadhaar itself, if it is confined to socio-economic benefits, is a good measure of means of identity. But going beyond Aadhaar, they are using the NPR to discriminate between people on the basis of religion. The exercise in Assam ended in a complete fiasco. And they did not expect that the bulk of the excluded persons who were enumerated under NPR will turn out to be Hindus. But that's bound to happen if you have a wrong purpose. It will end in surprising results. Therefore, in order to allow the Hindus to remain and the Muslims to be put in virtual prisons, detention camps, they introduced CAA. The Citizenship Amendment Act is a consequence of the NPR fiasco in Assam. People are not able to connect the dots. Because the NPR exercise was a complete fiasco, they had to introduce a Citizenship Amendment Act, and together they are patently discriminatory on the basis of religion.
So another thing is Money Laundering Prevention Act. So because we introduce a lot of amendments due to the international pressure, do you think because it has given additional power to the ED, now because it is very overactive now, do you think this is because of the amendments?
It is. You see, Prevention of Money Laundering Act is there in every country, or most countries. But who has weaponized it? Prevention of Money Laundering Treaty, there were two treaties. They are mainly concerned with drug trafficking. They were also concerned with human trafficking. Because vast amounts of money are used for drug trafficking and vast amounts of money are generated by drug trafficking and human trafficking, the countries of the world got together and signed a treaty and said we should all have a money laundering law. Money laundering is narrowly defined. But in every other country, is money laundering law used to throw dozens and hundreds of opposition politicians in jail? Show me one country which has used the money laundering law to throw the entire opposition in jail. This is happening only in India. PMLA has been weaponized. It is no longer a law. It is a weapon. It is a powerful weapon for the BJP to browbeat the opposition, imprison opposition leaders, persecute them. Eventually they will be acquitted. Many of them will be acquitted. But the process is the punishment. The process of arrest, detention, bail, rejection, further bail, rejection, further appeal, and finally, if the Supreme Court grants bail, the person gets bail. But the process itself is punishment. Now, today, Mr. Kejriwal is in jail. Mr. Hemant Soren is in jail. Mr. Sisodia is in jail. Now, by the time they get bail in the Supreme Court, I hope they get, the election will be over. The purpose is served. So this Law has become a weapon. It's no longer a law. We have made it very clear in our manifesto that we will repeal the law and enact a new law consistent with international principles of money laundering.
Another thing is because they have introduced that what's that? That predicate offence is, under the purview of the law. Is it because of that?
No. Predicate offence is the essence of the law.
Okay.
There must be an offence that must be investigated by the state police or the CBI. That offence must be proved. That offence may or may not, mark my words, may or may not generate proceeds of crime. Money laundering law is only concerned with the proceeds of crime. For example, there can be murder, simple murder. There can be murder with robbery, murder with burglary. The first crime is not a predicate offence under PMLA because it's simply murder. But the second offence, where murder is for gain, you murder a lady or a man and steal the money or steal the jewelry, that is proceeds of crime. So whoever has the proceeds of crime, whoever handles the proceeds of crime is prosecuted under money laundering law. But here the ED has reversed the matter. There are cases in which the CBI has not even filed a charge sheet for the predicate crime. It has not even completed its investigation. It has not come to a conclusion that a crime has been committed and charged the accused. The ED goes ahead and files a charge sheet or complaint for money laundering. Justice Oak's bench last week said if there is no predicate offence, how can you have a money laundering at all? Here the ED is doing the job which is the CBI is supposed to do. Suppose the CBI comes to the conclusion that there is no crime, then what happens to the trial under PMLA? Please understand, the ED is being used to punish people even before the predicate offence is established, even before money proceeds of crime is established, even before money laundering is even prima facie established.
Yeah, that is a very valuable. That is why Mr. Martin was able to get relief, saying that the court, this predicate case is being separately heard in court, no, Orissa.
Well, I don't know about the individual case, but I know Justice Oak's judgment. There are several other High Court judgments. Unless there is a predicate crime, and prima facie you must establish the predicate crime, the PMLA, according to me, cannot register a case. And then it's only after conviction in the predicate crime you can start the trial in the PMLA case. Suppose he's acquitted, then what is the PMLA then?
Yeah. So another thing is, now you are hoping for a victory, but do you think the India Alliance will be able to defeat the BJP in the Hindi heartland?
Well, I don't know. In the Hindi heartland, the fight is being led by two parties in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. One is the Samajwadi Party and the other is the RJD of Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav, etc. Tejeshwar. If they put up a strong fight, those two states account for about 120 seats. In Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana, the fight is led by the Congress party. I think we will do very well in Haryana. I have no information about Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. We should do well. We were in government there. There is a party structure there. In Bengal, the fight is being led by the TMC and the Congress and CPM. Therefore, these are the states which have the large number of seats. Then, of course, there is Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, the alliance of Shiv Sena, Congress, and NCP will do very well.
But do you fear that the BJP, after the election, if suppose they win, they will use the democratic changes to suit or redraw the boundaries of the parliamentary constituencies in the country?
100%. They've already done it in Assam. 100%. They will use every law, every rule in order to re-engineer the electoral map of India. They broke down Jammu and Kashmir into three parts. Why do you think that they will not do it in Maharashtra or Tamil Nadu or Bengal? The BJP's goal is a single government in the center. All other units, or like the old Palayakaras or Zamindars, reduce them to smaller size and keep them under your thumb. Actually keep them under your foot. If there are smaller states with a regional party or a Congress party, each chief minister can be dealt with easily. It is the national opposition that they want to destroy. And the national opposition today is represented by the Congress party. And of course, some other regional parties which have realized the danger of not having a national opposition. 100%, I believe, the BJP will amend the constitution, steer India to a unitary form of government, make government less responsible to parliament. It will be a more presidential system of government, and the states will be reduced to municipalities.
So under these circumstances, what is your message to the voters?
My message to the voters is, CSDS Lok Niti survey in the last few days has revealed that the two issues which dominate the people's thinking, one is unemployment, one is inflation, a price rise. These are the two markers of a good government. All the rest are given. These are the two markers of a good government. On both, Mr. Modi's government has failed. Mr. Modi has not been in power for 1 or 2 years. He's been in power for 10 years.
Yes.
And 10 years is a long, long time. At the end of 10 years, you leave unemployment and uncontrolled inflation. Your government has to go. There is a famous Tirukkural, Takkar Thagavilar enbadu avaravar echattal kaanapadum. Takkar is fit, suitable person. Thagavilar is an unsuitable person. Who is a suitable person, who is an unsuitable person will be determined on the basis of what they leave behind. After 10 years, Mr. Modi has left behind only unemployment and inflation. On that ground, he has to go. Besides, of course, there is this repression of political parties, there is this misuse of law, there is this patent discrimination against minorities, both religious minorities and linguistic minorities. There's a whole lot of things. And North India today is a powder keg. Any day in any state in UP, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, it can become a big fire. Fortunately, South India is relatively peaceful. We don't want all that to come into the southern states. Therefore, my message to the people is, number one, save democracy. Save the constitution crafted by Baba Saheb Ambedkar and his compatriots. Save parliamentary democracy and the parliamentary institutions of democracy. Number one. Number two, put back India on the growth path. Get rid of this uncontrolled inflation and soaring unemployment. Only a competent set of managers can deal with these issues. And the present Modi government's ministers are proved completely incompetent to deal with unemployment and price rise. Then third, shape India's destiny towards the future. There is no point harking back to the past. What India was 3,000 years ago, what India was 4,000 years ago. This is a multilingual, multicultural country with different civilizations. Our civilization in Tamil Nadu is in Shivaganga district, Kiladi. Therefore, respect the pluralism of India and shape the pluralism of India to suit us modern age where science and technology will prevail. So these are the three messages: save democracy, manage the economy competently, and three, reshape India to suit the future of India.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.